said she has truly loved serving the people of San Francisco. NBC News Now anchor Hallie Jackson looks back at her legacy and her impact on Capitol Hill.
One of the most powerful women in American political history announcing her retirement today. Nancy Pelosi, the first woman elected Speaker of the House, telling her constituents she will not seek re-election next year, ending her nearly 40-year career in Congress.
There has been no greater honor for me than to stand on the House floor and say, I speak for the people of San Francisco.
Raised in Baltimore, Pelosi had politics in her blood. Her father serving in Congress and as Baltimore mayor. But Pelosi would raise 5 children before seeking her first elected office in California. In 2003, she began a 20-year tenure as leader of the House Democrats, breaking what she called the marble ceiling in 2007, becoming the first woman to hold the Speaker's gavel.
I accept this gavel in the spirit of partnership, not partisanship.
Pelosi partnered with President Obama to shepherd his Affordable Care Act through Congress.
One of the best speakers the House of Representatives have ever had. Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
But the backlash against Obamacare led to big losses for Democrats in the 2010 midterms, with Pelosi ousted from the Speaker's chair. She chose to stay on as minority leader and was eventually swept back into the speakership after the so-called blue wave election of 2018. For decades, Republicans painted Pelosi as a villain in campaign ads.
Nancy Pelosi and her liberal allies are pushing...
And when she took over as the top-ranking Democrat in Washington in President Trump's first term, the two clashed repeatedly. Pelosi walking out of the Oval Office during talks over the 2019 government shutdown, and memorably tearing up his 2020 State of the Union address. Pelosi at first resisted, but eventually led the House impeachment effort against President Trump in 2019 over allegations he withheld U.S. aid to pressure Ukraine to investigate the Biden family. And after the January 6th attack, she presided over that historic second impeachment.
We know that the President of the United States incited this insurrection, this armed rebellion against our common country.
In October 2022, Pelosi faced an attack on her home when a man hoping to hold her hostage broke into her San Francisco house and went after her husband, Paul, with a hammer, seriously hurting him. Just weeks later, when Democrats lost the House in the midterms, Pelosi stepped down from her 2 decades as party leader, but chose to stay in Congress, wielding her immense influence to help nudge President Biden out of the 2024 campaign. And now, set to exit Congress as she entered it, on her terms, with a clear message.
San Francisco, know your power. We have made history. We have made progress. We have always led the way. And now we must continue to do so by remaining full participants in our democracy and fighting for the American ideals we hold dear. In doing
Hallie Jackson, thank you so much for that look back. Let's bring in NBC News senior national political reporter Sahil Kapoor. Sahil, there's been a lot of reaction today to Pelosi's announcement. What are we hearing from both sides of the aisle?
Well, Kate, the praise for Nancy Pelosi is pouring in from all wings of the Democratic Party for her lengthy career in Congress, for her litany of legislative achievements, of which she would call the ACA her proudest. Take a listen to Hakeem Jeffries, the man who took over as Democratic leader from Nancy Pelosi after her 2 decades.
Nancy D'Alessandro Pelosi will go down in history as the greatest speaker of all time. Her tenure has been iconic, legendary, historic, and transformational.
And then there's President Trump, who also reacted with, let's call it a more negative comment, said, quote, the retirement of Nancy Pelosi is a great thing for America. He calls her evil, corrupt, only focused on bad things for the country. He says he's very honored that she impeached him twice, or rather led 2 impeachments against him that didn't result in convictions, calls her highly overrated. Then there's Governor Gavin Newsom of California, a fellow San Franciscan, said she has inspired generations, praised her courage and conviction to San Francisco, went on to wish her the best in her new chapter. And guys, just in the last couple of minutes, I'm seeing a new reaction from Senator Chuck Schumer, the Democratic leader with whom she partnered in the last trifecta to get a bunch of legislative, bills passed into law in the Biden administration. Schumer says few speakers in American history have left a mark as deep, as lasting, and as inspiring as Nancy Pelosi.
Sahil, Pelosi does have another year left in her term, right? She represents this deep blue district in San Francisco. What do we think the race to fill her seat will look like?
Yeah, that's right. Pelosi made the unusual decision to stick around in Congress as a rank-and-file member after she stepped down from Democratic leadership after the 2022 election. That seat, which she's held for 40 years now, is going to be wide open. It's a highly coveted seat because it's one of the bluest districts in the country. The Democratic primary is going to be as good as the general election for all intents and purposes. And a couple of candidates that we're watching in the race to replace her include State Senator Scott Wiener, who represents San Francisco in California right now, and tech entrepreneur and progressive activist Saikat Chakrabarti, who's already been running against Pelosi for that seat. Now he's going to run for the open seat.
All right, Sahil Kapoor, thank you so much.